Ooh, the movie's starting.
3 things to help you stand out: humility, hunger, and heart. My name is Amy Lou Kassler. I am the Director of People and Culture here at Nickelodeon Animation, and I am a part of the Recruitment and Talent Development team.
I've been in the industry for a while. I've done production roles. I have worked as an artist manager, and then later in my career, I switched over to recruiting.
My name is Melanie Young, and I am the new manager of animation recruitment, joining Camille's team.
I'm Sarah. I am the recruiting coordinator here at Nickelodeon. I joined the Nickelodeon family back in fall 2016. I was a Nickturn.
I'm the recruiting assistant, and I was originally interested in working on a production, but I gave a chance in international marketing and research and recruitment, and I've loved every single one.
My name is Philip Williams, and I've been working in the animation space for quite some time. I started my career at Disney, and I have worked in feature animation and television animation. I've also worked in theme park design, recruitment.
Wow, that's all pretty impressive, guys.
Nick is by no small estimation one of the best. The culture here really is fantastic, and they really do care about artists.
We are in the business of building a workforce, a family, a team of people that are reflective of the audience that is watching us. Something that's really important to us is to make sure to have people that are writing these stories that can really connect with everybody out there.
I love the creative environment. I love working with artists. I love helping artists. And I moved over into recruiting because then I was able to actually help get artists in the door.
Nickelodeon has provided a lot of opportunity in different roles, in different capacities, from 2D to 3D. And so definitely there is something here for everybody. Within resumes, attention to detail is really important for me. Checking your spacing's correct, that the grammar is correct. The reason why it's important is you have all the time in the world to work on your resume. You really want to make sure that you are presenting what's best. If I give you a project and there's a deadline of tomorrow, I want to know that you're going to double check it, triple check it, just like you did your resume, in which you had all the time in the world prior to submitting it to the company.
Make sure your resume, your cover letter kind of display qualities that show promise. Look at the job description and make sure that the qualities you list are reflective of the responsibilities of the role. You can use the job description as a cheat sheet. Don't lie, but emphasize your best qualities that would fit with that position.
I want to know that you've read the job description and that your resume reflects the job description. So what I mean by that is you read it, you understood it, and you're applying for the job that it's asking for. So if you're a modeler and you're applying for an animation job, that's not going to go so well. If you're an animator applying for an animator job and you've read the job description and tailored your resume, that's what I'm looking for. Do the research on the company and, if possible, the people who you're going to interview with. If you're applying to a studio like Nickelodeon and you're applying with a gaming reel, that's not the type we're looking for unless we have a show that is styled like a video game. So do the research on the company, tailor your portfolio, tailor your reel, and tailor it to the job that you're applying for.
We do want to see the most relevant experience that you have. And so let's say you have all this character design work, background designer and storyboard artist work, but you're applying to a story role. We want to know that you are putting your storyboard work at the top, because we want to know exactly when you did it, what credits you have, what reel that you're working on, so that when we go to review your resume, we don't have to guess what type of role that you're looking for. When we have hundreds and hundreds of people who are applying to roles, there's a high possibility that as recruiters, we need to get resumes in front of our management team as soon as possible. So we are doing quick searches that relate to the role. So tailoring your resumes to have the keywords from the job description is going to be really beneficial. If you have the specific software skills that they're asking for, whether that be storyboard, animate, Adobe Premiere, Maya, Nuke, any of those things, those are where we're going to go first as well to look in our resume. So definitely tailoring your resume and having multiple styles of your resume is only going to benefit you.
A lot of you out there are creative and artists, and more power to you. Don't overpower your resume with your style. Use that for your portfolio or your reel, Make sure that your resume is clear and easy to read. Also, double check that the applicant tracking system that you're applying to, if you're going to design your resume, don't do a vector-based resume. Keep it in Word or take a PDF of your resume, because what will happen if you over-design your resume and it's all colors and everything, the system won't be able to read it, and all we get when you apply is a blank line. So we can't even see your resume, and you might get passed over simply for the fact of over-designing your resume. So don't create it in Illustrator, Photoshop or something, and then try to upload it. Use colors, be creative, be imaginative, that is fine. And in design, you can do really cool resumes with colors and styles. Just don't overdo it so that we can't see what your skills are.
I would customize the name of your resume. Don't just put resume version 1, make sure to put your name in it. Make it a lot more specific, because there's so many resumes that we get that literally just say resume. But if you can put Amy Wu _ resume, then it's in a sea of files that are named resume, then yours is going to stand out. So it's just those tiny little details that will kind of elevate you above the rest. And just know that with recruiters, for one position, could be hundreds and hundreds of people for that one position. So I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm saying that so that you can think about ways that you can really elevate what you already have.
Use objectives if you are new to the industry, if you're changing careers, if there's something that you want us to know that's specific about your skills, use an objective. If you're an animator or a storyboard artist, and we know that, because it's if it's story, we get that. You don't necessarily need an objective. The idea of an objective is to tell us what you want. If you're making a change, tell us that you want to make a change in your career. You have to tell us what you want, because we're, like I said at the beginning, we're rooting for you.
I can be of assistance.
Be sure that you do check what the position is on there and what the company, because we have had many people who, again, apply, and when you're mass applying, like most of us do, you leave different companies on there, and so that again goes to your attention to detail.
The best way to get your resume critiqued is to ask someone you trust, but someone who is able to give you constructive criticism, not filter anything, not put any fluff into it. Have them look at your resume for 3 seconds, have them flip the resume over once the 3 seconds are up, and then ask them what they remembered seeing in your resume. And that's very telling of what sticks out most in your resume. And if you don't get the answers you like, then that's when you go and adjust your resume to highlight the things you want to. And then if, they say the right answers, then you're good to go. And, just always make sure that everything is legible, everything's organized, everything's in clean bullet format. Font size is big enough to be able to read, grammar's good, spelling's good, just the basics of making a good resume.
We want to understand why you're interested in interning at Nickelodeon or, any other company, but for specific to Nickelodeon, we want to understand what is it that you're interested in? Maybe you're you're a marketing major, but you really want to go into, animation, but your resume is maybe you had a marketing internship at 3 different companies, but you're really interested in, what we do here. You love SpongeBob. An objective on your resume definitely helps, but your cover letter really is going to seal the deal for I grew up on Nickelodeon. I really wanted to, understand what the world of production is like. Tell us your passions. It's going to tell us the whys and who you are. And so oftentimes when we're recruiting for different departments, the hiring managers will actually ask us, hey, we have a resume, but do you know if this person has a cover letter? And so they really do like to hear kind of the heart behind the reason for the application. There's a misconception that you need to have completely one-to-one experience with whatever job that you're applying for, and I think especially if you are still in school or you're still early career, you might not necessarily have, say, the experience that somebody who's been in the industry for 5-10 years has. I would say, especially for students, any experience that you have is job experience. So for example, if you worked at Starbucks at a barista, or if you worked in retail, or if you oversaw a film project at school and you played, the director, the writer, the producer, the artist, all of that is relevant work experience that can be transferable to a job or like an internship. So I wouldn't get too discouraged regarding that, because if you look at it kind of from a high level point of view, you'll realize that the actual hard skills that you have trained yourself in will actually be really relevant to a lot of the jobs. For example, a production assistant position. Sometimes people think, oh, I don't have any experience being a PA, but the question is, have you done things where you have to be really organized? Have you worked with a lot of different types of people, like, managing different aspects? So those things are very transferable to your resumes.
And also, if you've ever done any volunteer work, you can put that experience in. If you've worked as a TA at school, or if you've done even retail, because that's customer service, depending on if it's production management or what the job is, you can put those types of experience in.
If you are worried about not having any animation experience, I would like to just put out there that my experiences before joining Nickelodeon was just working attractions at Disneyland. I had no knowledge of the animation pipeline whatsoever, and yet here I am. You just need to adjust your resume and make sure to showcase the skills that are transferable to PA or EA entry-level roles.
So many people that you'll find in animation, they didn't come from an animation background. Like, I was a biology major for 3 years in college before I did sociology. So the diversity in terms of the backgrounds and the areas of study is really, really vast for sure.
Cover letter should be brief. It should talk a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, some of your skills, and why you think you're a good fit for the job. But it should be brief. Keep it short and sweet.
The analogy that I like to use is like your resume and your cover letter are like that movie trailer. That's going to help that person say, oh, that trailer looks awesome. I want to go see that movie. Let's go. I know that when I, was job seeking and I was, stressing out about like, what do I want to put? I was always worried about who are they going to want me to be? And yes, there is that part of it too. They're looking for a specific type of person to help fulfill this role, but be authentically you. You're the only one that can tell your story. And, that is really going to shine through is like your passion. Don't ever try to pretend to be somebody that you're not, because then it's just going to be like a pale shade of gray compared to the awesome that is you, And so, the resume and the cover letter, you also don't have to worry about putting everything on there. Make sure that it's really relevant to the job description. So we're not asking you to put every single job that you've had. Just put the relevant ones on there. And really, the resume and the cover letter are there to whet the appetite of the recruiter and the hiring manager. It's to get you the interview. It's not to get you the job, it's to get you the interview. So you can go down, and do like a slam dunk, like, hey, hire me. There's a preconceived notion that in order to get into animation that you have to study that. But internships, trainee programs are a great way, not just at Nickelodeon, but we have so many other companies that have fantastic talent development programs. So definitely do your research on that. To give you an idea though, when I first started out, my boss was an English major. One of the supervisors was a history major. I had a coworker that was a biology major. And then I was a sociology and communications major. And none of us had backgrounds in art, but all of us are now in animation. Continue in that kind of gap period to continue learning. There are so many different resources that you can take advantage of online to help further your skills. So at least when you're talking with somebody, you can say that during that time, you used it to really further and better yourself in that craft. And that really is going to speak leaps and bounds and showing that you are very proactive in kind of following your dreams in that specific area of discipline.
The studio as a whole, and this is just such a unique part of our culture as well, is that we are very highly encouraging of everyone to find what they want to do. So it's never a situation where, let's say you start in production, even though you want to be an artist, you aren't shoehorned into like having to go up that production pipeline. We're always highly encouraged everyone to pursue what they want to pursue. So with that in mind, we do have a lot of aspiring artists starting off in various positions. A lot of aspiring artists start off in production, even in like the internship too. We had someone start off in the finance department as an intern, and he wanted to be an artist, and we loved him so much that we decided to extend him into a production internship the next term. And now he is a storyboard artist on The Loud House. So you don't really have to worry about finding an entry-level job in an art role, because for Nickelodeon especially, we try our very best to help you find the right place at the studio.
I also love that. One of the things that I hear so many people say is, when you have been entrusted with little, you can be entrusted with much, because oftentimes it's in those little things. When you put your heart and soul into it, people will see how you work so hard at it and you have a high integrity, and people are going to want to help you out because they see that you just want to do a great job. So that particular intern, yes, he was like, I just want to do anything. I want to be an artist, but I can learn, finance. And as a hopefully maybe a future creator, he will now understand what production finance is like. So every little thing is a building block.
Most important thing, really, no matter what the conditions are, or no matter where you are, is to continue to develop as an artist and to develop good work. So when we look at portfolios, more than anything, we're looking for strong work. If you've developed as an artist and you have put forward something that is industry standard, the next thing is make it really navigatable, make it really clear, make it so that no one has to guess what you did, where you did it, when you did it. You worked at Warner Brothers as a visual development artist from this month and this year to this period of time. And I know that sounds like a small thing, but it's really essential that when we're looking, imagine that we're looking through 100 candidates or 200 candidates, to really be clear who you are and what you've done. So your work is the first standard and it's the first bar. That's what we look at. We click on a reel. If we see animation that's clearly strong character animation, that's the first thing that is going to be the attractor. We look at a resume and we see clearly what your experience was, and it's not difficult to get. If there's no guesswork, that moves you forward. Only put your best work on your reel. If you're at the beginning of your career, we get it. Like you're trying to get into the industry and you want to put something on your demo reel, you want to put something in your portfolio, you want to put something on your resume. But just put what is quality and what is the best. It's better to do that than to mix up your reel with, say, your first year assignments that no longer represent who you are as an artist.
It's quality over quantity. You guys have to remember, it's not how much is on your reel. You have a really small window of time to capture someone's attention, because at least as a recruiter, we're going through hundreds of reels, portfolios, resumes. So just put your best work forward, no matter, even if it's only 2 animatics, that's okay. I've seen someone get a job with 30 seconds of animation. So it's quality over quantity, and regardless of what you do, put your best work first, always.
First I draw this head, then I erase some of the more detailed features. And 1, 2, 3, a circle thingy. Give me that!
The main things I like to look for is adaptability. I'm sure each and every one of you who are artists, you have your own specific style, but when you are working for a show, you will have to adapt to whatever their style is. So when we look at portfolios, we like to look at potential to see if you would be able to easily adjust and adapt your style to what fits the production.
You absolutely should put work on your portfolio that represents your style, because we want to know, and the hiring managers want to know, and the artistic leads want to know who you are. But I think it would be dishonest to say that studios also aren't looking for a certain degree of style diversity or a certain degree of stylistic sensibility to what's been done in the industry. So I wouldn't recommend filling your portfolio with lots of drawings of Mickey Mouse. But if you're applying to Disney or you're applying to Nickelodeon or Warner, show that you have the skill level and the diversified skills to work in different types of shows and in different styles. So definitely try to show so that you can step into different shows working in different platforms and different styles.
When you're working in a company like Nickelodeon or any major studio, you have to remember that your job when you come into the studio is to take someone else's creative vision to life. And when we're looking for artists, when we're saying we want to see your aesthetic, we want that. We definitely want your artistic skills. But it's not you working on your project. You're working on a project with a team, with a group of people, bringing the director who's interpreting, the art director is interpreting his vision, and then the design team are interpreting that vision, and it's working as part of a bigger group. So we need your artistic eye, we need your artistic skills, and it's that flexibility that we're looking for. But when you come in and you're working on a style, you're working to a style guide and a certain setup of a show, and then you're working to someone's vision. So what we're looking for is when we look at your portfolio, we're looking at your own aesthetic, your own skills, your creativity, how flexible, nimble, and adaptable you are. And if you can translate your style into this style, and then, that flexibility will get you hired on other shows. If you can flip from a show like Rugrats to a show like Korra, that's amazing. That's kind of what we're looking for.
Right now, we have shows where directors are looking at portfolios and they're saying, oh, I love that person because they love their own work as well. So there's no real, in my opinion, I'm going to be a little bold and say there really isn't a contradiction in the sense that you're an artist, you have a great sort of mode of self-expression. That will be noticed. You just have to be willing to actually play in the best sense and show that you're diverse and that you're a team player, because don't apply to work on SpongeBob if you don't like designing for SpongeBob. But if you've applied, then sure, you got to step up to the plate and design in that style, but there's enormous room for creativity within that context as well. And eventually your own work will just carry you forward into greater and greater opportunities because people will see it and they'll be attracted to it.
You don't always get to choose what you work on. And so your style might be very limited because of the style of the project. And I've seen people go through their certain movies or shows that they've worked on where it's like, well, that's okay. I don't really like the design of that. But then when the hiring manager looks at the personal work, I've seen people get hired because of that, because then we really see like what's your kid. Like if we see like you're able to work in this box and then you're able to work outside of the box, that's what we're looking for.
I would like to throw this out too. If you do have a portfolio password, just helping us find that really easily by maybe including it in your resume or including that in your application for whatever job you are applying for.
It's really about pointing out to us in the simplest and most direct way. This is where you find this, this is where you find this. So work in progress, this tab, click, open, I see your work in progress. Character designs, click, I see character designs. Background designs, click, I see background designs. Now, there's an important point to make about this. You really want to make sure that you've labeled your work appropriately. If everything is not your work, tell us what is your work, whether it's on a demo reel or on a portfolio. Don't make anyone guess if you did the animation or you did the backgrounds or you did the models. Don't make them guess, because that may mean that you don't get hired. Because if they're slammed and they're moving fast and they're trying to find work to put in front of a hiring manager and it's not clear, they may in good intention think, okay, I'll come back to that person, but then they may not because they're just moving on and someone else gets hired. So make it super clear and trust yourself. Just use common sense. If there's a specific category of work or type of work that you feel is different or distinct from everything else that's on your website, then just create a navigatable tab for that piece of work so it's easy for us to find it and then give it the proper credits.
LinkedIn is something huge that a lot of professionals are using that you can easily connect with, send out notes so that they know who you are, kind of what you're interested in, maybe ask for an informational conversation to speak with them. Nickelodeon is actually super involved in different social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We post jobs to ArtStation. We are on LinkedIn. And through there, you can actually find, right, if you dig through the followers, who is Nickelodeon staff to connect with. A lot of our artists have their own pages, their own portfolios, their own Twitter handles that you can reach out to. So definitely anywhere that you can upload your own drawings, anywhere that you can get an audience, I'd say to be a part of.
For platforms like LinkedIn, I know for some people, they only really accept connection requests from people that they know, but it's a little different for recruiting. Again, we are trying to meet as many new artists as possible, so you can always send us a LinkedIn request because that's our way of, finding new talent. In addition to that, if you already have succeeded in maybe making a correspondence with someone in the animation industry or a recruiter, and you are wondering how to kind of keep connected, I suggest that in your email, if you have multiple questions, just start off with one question, and then if they respond, follow up with that email with another question, and then that can create a natural conversation. And that's also really actually easier on us because when we read these emails, we only really see okay, you have one question, I can answer that, as opposed to paragraphs of all these questions that we may not have the time to answer.
If you do have a recruiter's contact information, they will welcome hearing from you occasionally. Don't reach out to recruiters all the time because there's no way they can handle responding to everyone. If you send me a note checking in to let me know you're available, that's great. Checking in to maybe ask for feedback, I will give it to you if I can. We don't always have extensive feedback on everyone's portfolio if it's been reviewed, so we won't always be able to answer you, but we absolutely welcome hearing from you. Just remember again that we don't always have the time to answer every inquiry, and we don't always know the answer. So we'll do our very best, and I mean that because for purely selfish reasons, we also want to be in touch with artists. We want to stay in touch with you.
Dear Pen Pal, my name is SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh, that's great!
As someone who was unemployed 6 months ago, don't take it personally if recruiters don't respond to you. We receive so many emails. I was in the same boat as you. I know what it's like, but you will find a job if you keep trying and you stick with it, and don't worry, it's gonna happen for you.
It took me 3 tries before I got into Nickelodeon. Now they can't get rid of me.
Always develop your work. Your work is the absolute most important thing. Just persist because you will absolutely get in.